Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Roti. I'm joined alongside White Sox specialist Anthony Sepyta, and today we are reviewing the Cubs and the White Sox first weekend of action. So kind of just to kick things off, we're going to talk about the overview of each team, and we're going to kick it off with the Cubs because the Cubs had a much better weekend than the White Sox. Though the White Sox didn't play horrible, I think they got just a lot of unlucky breaks. Anthony was, chopping it up with me before that it's just an awkward situation because for once the Sox have a lot of hype and they let everyone down. So to start things off, Cubs did not do bad. They had a rough loss to start the season. They only had 2 hits. It was freezing cold. Anthony Rizzo standing in front of a space heater. It's baseball in Chicago. That's why that's why Chicago guys don't have big stats out of the gate ever. No matter if you're on the north or south side, it's within 5 miles of each other. It's not going to be much warmer down at guaranteed rate. But, overall, not too bad. 2-1 start. I'll take it over a very bad Pittsburgh Pirates team. Their catcher blows. I don't know if you were watching, Anthony. Their catcher sucks. Can't catch anything. Can't catch a curveball. Overthrew his second baseman. You name it. He did it. Jake Arrieta's back. I know that you're a White Sox guy, but you got to respect, one of the best Cub pitchers of the decade. He's back. I don't care what people say. Jake Arrieta after 1 start. I'm saying he's back. Looked phenomenal. Zach Davies also looked great. Way skinnier than I thought, but that's just me coming from an excited Cubs fans considering we're above 500 after the first 3 games of the season. So, Anthony, what are you thinking from a Cubs perspective? What do you think they're doing well so far in the beginning of the season?
I completely agree. Jake Arrieta, I will say, one of my favorite Cubs of the past, couple of years, because he just shoves. Like, how can he not respect that? That's just awesome. I gotta respect it.
You're growing out the beard.
I'm trying to be Jake Arrieta. It is what it is. But I will say, I mentioned on our preview that I thought those offseason issues were to kind of linger with all the contracts, and I thought I was right after the first game. But then they took care of business, and I know it's the Pirates. I know it's a team you're supposed to beat, but they're a team you're supposed to beat. They're a team you were supposed to beat, whatever, for a reason. If that makes any sense. You got to, take care of the easy teams, go 500 against the good teams. That's how you make the playoffs. And the other thing I had was that Kimbrel's back, I think. I don't know. Again, it's just the Pirates. But they were showing all the stats. It's like him and Aroldis Chapman is the best closers of all time. And I think that could really help, obviously, if that can continue throughout the season, because that was definitely a big weakness last year. And I really think he could be the stud that carries the Cubs to the wild card.
I think it's kind of like a Wade Davis situation all over again. Like a guy they picked up, weren't sure about. Wade Davis was way better than Kimbrel the last couple of years. There's no doubt about that. But I think you're right on that. There was a lot of worry. Like you thought Anthony Rizzo was going to suck purposely this year because he didn't get his money. Baez, Bryant, but Bryant looks great too. I mean, Bryant had a home run. He's getting on base. He looks good running. But Jake, like you said, Jake Arrieta's back. Henricks had an okay day, gave up 2 runs, ended up hurting us because we literally couldn't do anything with the bats. And like you were also saying, the signing, the signings, like Jock Peterson is 0 for 11 to start. I mean, he has 2 RBIs, he has 2 sacrifice, but taking a guy that's playing on the West Coast in some of the most beautiful weather in America, putting him in the center of the Midwest off of Lake Michigan, you're going to have issues. So I think you're right. I think that, overall, like they're just kind of getting in the groove. And Kimbrel, I am not putting, we were talking about this before, like canceling culture. I'm canceling that right now. There's no way he's back yet. I don't trust him. He's taken too much money and too many games from us over the last 2 years. He needs to earn my trust. But that's just coming from a total Cubs fan. But let's kind of go over to the Sox. You're wearing the Soxtober Barstool sweatshirt. Respect it. Totally love that. But rough opening weekend for you guys record-wise. I think the team overall still looks pretty good. The offense doesn't look horrible. Your pitching, it's not living up to the hype yet. And there is absolutely no excuse that they shouldn't be living up to the hype because they're playing in the same weather that they played in all spring training. So, that's just kind of me leading into what you have to talk about. I know you have a lot to hit on these guys. So start off with pitching. Like, what are you thinking? What's wrong with, or, overall, what have you seen so far before later we go into what's wrong with the pitching staff?
Yeah, so just overall with the pitching, we kind of start with Dylan Cease. Obviously, that rough first inning when Shohei Ohtani just hit the hardest ball I've ever seen, just the farthest I've ever seen, and just set all those records. ESPN just loving it. Whatever. But I think it happened with was it Cody Hoyer too? He gave up a home run. Like I think the first batter was that Matt Walsh, I believe his first name is Josh Walsh. Either way, but he killed us last night. Yeah, he hit the walk off last night. But the kind of the reoccurring theme with that was they have a rough first inning, they have rough first couple pitches, but then they settle in, and when the offense isn't producing, like it doesn't really help you. But I'm just hoping it's kind of just some early season rust, just kind of shaking it off. No team that's gone 159-3 has ever missed the playoffs. That's what I'm holding out for. So we'll see with that. Man. And yeah, we'll see. But I mean, we got to talk about the greatest player of all time was in this series. Of course, everyone's saying it. Yermain Mercedes is how he prefers it to be pronounced.
5 for 5.
Yeah, he ended I think 9 for 13. It was like the most hits through his player's first 3 starts in like Major League history or something crazy. They're comparing all these guys from 1901 that you did something right at that point. He just knows how to hit. He had this crazy, upbringing through the Dominican leagues and then like 17 different minor league teams and a couple different systems. And the dude just wants to play. He got his shot and he showed us why he deserves to be there. So I putting him over Andrew Vaughn at this point for my rookie of the year. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's early. I'm overreacting.
That's a take.
Yep. Another couple things. Billy Hamilton, just surprisingly good. Just slapping some singles, driving in. I don't know if he actually drove in any runs, but he set up some opportunities that we couldn't cash in on. We are, I guess, 0 for 19 with runners in scoring position this year, which is a terrible stat. And but he's stealing bases. Hopefully he's teaching Luis Robert how to steal bases. So that should work out. And what I kind of noticed is they are kind of, we'll kind of get into what things need to change. But the last thing for the Sox was that they really do miss Eloy. That's just another big bad in their lineup. Grandal just hasn't been doing it, but we'll get into that when we get to the White Sox. So first we can start with the Cubs though, for really what needs to change. I think what really needs to change probably is just really slamming the door. That's kind of just the White Sox as well, but we're on the Cubs right now. They did it. I think it was the second game, but I know I watched the end of yesterday's game, Sunday, for people watching probably on Tuesday. They just could not fully put the Pirates away, and Javi made a great play to end the game, so that worked out. But that probably should have been a single. Yeah, could have scored that winning run or the game tying run.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be either. Oh, he made an awesome play, and that's what you have him for. That's why you got to extend him.
This is a Baez jersey, by the way.
Well, there we go. Hey, if you want to talk a little more on Baez, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of just going into that, what needs to change is even though he's, that flashy player, I think he did get the what was it, 2K, was it 21 or was it 20 that he was on for baseball?
20.
So he got the curse. Like, I think that it's a real thing. The Madden curse is for sure a real thing. But the 2K curse, I think it's a real thing too. I mean, wasn't Ryan Howard on too? And then that guy's career just completely just dudded. And Ryan Howard was one of my favorite players. When the Cubs were in talks about getting him, like blockbuster back in 2009, when Derek Lee slowly started to decline, I was all about it. And then Ryan Howard became who? Kind of going off that, I think that going back to Javi Baez, he needs to stop swinging at sinkers. And I was listening to what the Cubs broadcasters were saying, and he struggles so bad with that. And over the last 3 years, he has seen an increase of 5% more sinkers each year because people are like, just keep throwing him sinkers. He's not going to hit it because he has a home run only swing. That's another problem. He never wants to hit for a hit. He never wants to just get a double or get a single or walk. He wants to hit home run. He's going to strike out. And that was a huge problem with the Cubs last year. The Cubs looked great on paper last year. They looked like a team that was going to go far. They started out well. And They just couldn't do it. And that was the most frustrating part about it all, was it's because guys like Baez, Bryant, Rizzo, not really Rizzo, but more like Bryant, Baez, Bodie, all trying to kill the ball. And I think that's David Ross's way. But overall, it's really that's Baez's main problem, is just stop trying to hit a home run every time. You are always in the talks for MVP just because how flashy you are. Just have an above 300 average and you would win MVP. That's just what would happen in the National League. But the last thing I also want to hit on in regards to what the Cubs need to do is Henricks cannot have slow starts anymore. I remember 2 years ago before COVID ball that I went to Henricks' third game of the season, and it was his first win, but his first starts, he had like a 6 ERA. It was horrible. And then he went on this awesome 10-game streak. He was like 7-0, 1.25 ERA. He always warms up in like middle of April, late May or early May, is red hot till August, but he tires himself out. So Henricks needs to find that consistency, or David Ross needs to find that consistency, or every year the Cubs have a new pitching coach needs to find that consistency. There just needs to be that. And that's what the Cubs are missing right now. What needs to change also? Sign your damn all-star players. Like I don't even know what the problem is. You have David Bodie on a super cheap deal. If you're going to get rid of anyone to save cap, get rid of Jason Hayward. Anyone can be a Gold Glove in the outfield, especially in, what is he, right field? Anyone can be a Gold Glover in right field. Just don't drop the damn ball. And, you got Contreras, you got Baez, you got Bryant, you got Rizzo, you got big guys that need to get paid. And then on top of it, you have no pitching staff. So I think there needs to be some, and that's what needs to change for the Cubs. You need to start giving these guys security, because right now they're playing for other teams. They're trying out for other teams to get big contracts. And, I don't think David Ross is really doing anything terrible yet. I haven't seen anything terrible yet, but in regards to, Tony La Russa, I really want to hit on that. What needs to change with that guy? Because he looks old and frail and not really sure what he's doing in the Sox dugout. I'm just being honest with you. It's kind of like awkward to look at.
Yeah, I think he's got to trust his starting pitchers more. The relievers is a whole different story. He actually needs to trust them probably a little less. But those starting pitchers, one of the big storylines, I think it was on Saturday, when Lance Lynn started, is he had 37 straight games of 100 pitchers or more, and Tony La Russa pulled him in 99. It was right after a walk. It was kind of a weird situation, but doesn't let these guys get out of the fifth inning. And I know we have a deep bullpen, but we'll only have a deep bullpen as long we're not throwing 6 guys out there a night. And that's kind of where we get in some trouble. We do have this awesome bullpen in theory, but that like seventh, 8th inning, like Bummer the first night just got. Actually, it wasn't even his fault. All right, let's start with the defensive errors. That's what we're going to start with. All right. That's the big problem. Oh, man, I am so mad. I was screaming all weekend. You brought up, it's not that hard to be a Gold Glover in right field. Just catch the ball. Adam Eaton, you're number one. Catch the ball, dude. Oh, it was I think it scored 2 runs. It was on Anthony Rendon. Like, it was a slicer. It was a hard ball. But it was one of those where it just kind of like just spun off the front of his mitt when it was up. All he had to do was cup it. I know I'm saying that from my basement, but either way, Nick Madrigal looks terrible defensively. He, in that inning I mentioned with Bummer, Bummer kind of tipped a line drive up the middle, just kind of unfortunate. And then Madrigal had a beautiful double play ball in his mitt, and he just threw it out like a little too high for Tim Anderson, who I don't even think got the out at second base. So then you just get 2 guys out, and then floodgates open from there. There was another one I don't think many people are talking about. I saw a couple people, but it was the end of the game yesterday. They had this huge shift on. He's deep in right field. The ball just kind of was hit like a little bit it'd be to his left, to the right of second base. And it kind of just went under his glove. Like, he just took a weird angle, went right under his glove. And if he gets that, he gets the out at first. It's the 3rd out of the inning. It saves like 2 runs or something. So there's tons to be said about the defensive errors, but everyone watch those games as a Sox fan, so they know. The last thing probably I'll say is Luis Robert, figure it out, man. He just swings at every single pitch, and it works when he hits the ball, but they're not throwing him strikes because he swings at every single pitch, so he's not going to hit the ball. It's really that simple. I think he went down, on 3 pitches, 4 times, 5 times over the weekend, a couple times, like in the 9th inning when you really need a hit, you need a run, you need to just anything, just take a pitch, something. So I'm a little hot and bothered about it, but I overall though I'm not completely worried. We just got to figure out the defense. The offense will come, or it won't. I don't know. What did I say at the
We're not
last
saying
podcast?
just another year yet. We're not saying just another year.
What did I say the last time? We've a Chicago team has never underperformed expectations. It's only 4 games in, but I'm scared.
Oh man, I, as a Cubs fan, I know what it feels like because that's what I grew up on. Just like that, especially 2007, 2008. Oh my gosh, those teams were just unbelievably stacked for that time in baseball. I mean, they were just stupid good. And, they got swept first round each time. Unbelievable. Like, I think I don't want that to happen to the Sox. Like, they have this unbelievable roster and then just, especially young talent, they're not going to clean house by any means. Like, they'll give this roster at least another year, I think. At least from a Cubs fan standpoint, I think you guys still have plenty of promised success. But one more question I wanted to ask you was, your closer's last name is Henricks, right?
Liam Henricks, yes.
He didn't even go in yesterday, which I thought was a really weird move. And I actually watched the Sox game. I don't watch Sox games, but I was like, you know what? Maybe they'll go 2-2. Mike Trout's playing. This guy just hit one of the greatest home runs. He threw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball the half inning before and then crushes a home run. All right, I'll watch. And then I'm watching. I'm like, where is this Henricks guy who's supposedly like this big bad closer from Oakland? That's the answer. And you're not even throwing him out there.
Yeah, it was. So he came in to get the save. Actually, it turned into a save, I believe, on Friday. They were up 6 when he came in, gave up a 2-run homer. It was like a 4-out, like hold save kind of situation. And I mean, it was just, I think it was, I don't even know who hit that home run. It was just a weird situation. And I was like, okay, that's one. But then, yeah, you're right. He never came in last night. And I'm kind of on Tony La Russa's side for that. You had Ruiz, who was just a hard sinker. I believe those hard sinkers, hard sliders, and he was kind of going through the lineup. And it was a tie game. In theory, you're trying to save him when you have the lead and extra innings, but that's kind of scared baseball. I think that's assuming things that you shouldn't assume, and that's what Joe Madden did with Shohei Ohtani. He left him in trying to get the win, and he left him in too long. He ended up getting hurt, which was not his fault, but he was at like 90 pitches and he throws a wild pitch, run scores, etc. So I think to go back to Tony La Russa to finish it off, I assume here, well, he just needs to, he's kind of over managing, but also under managing at the same time. And he needs to kind of just flip it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but he just needs to flip everything he's doing. I think we'll be in a better position.
All right. Well, if you as a Sox fan, as a Cubs fan, I'm comfortable right now. But the game just started as we've been recording, which I'm supposed to be at Wrigley right now. But tickets are insanely expensive for an April game. I get it's limited capacity. I know people are itching to get out, but it's like humid and gross out right now, and I don't know why tickets to sit in like the top of Wrigley were $90. Like, I don't get it, but it's Wrigley. I'm going to the bar across the street to watch the championship game. I'm going to pay that much in beer in a little bit. But with that, as a Sox fan, scale of 1 to 10, 1 calm, 10 being absolute panic, sell the team. Where are you sitting after the first weekend?
Okay, the rational answer is like 2. Like, it's all good. Okay. It's the 4th game of the season. But I'm probably at a 4. I'm worried. Everything should be fine. Everything should be fine. We got the Mariners in like 4 hours. It's 6 o'clock right now, or 7 o'clock, but another late start on the West Coast. Let's just take care of the easy teams. Let's figure it out. That's all I got to say.
So a part of this, we're going to have Tony's updates on the White Sox, where he's sitting each episode. So after episode 1, he is sitting at a 4. So we're just keep that in mind. We're going to check in next time. And then Tony, we are started a new section. We did not do it sooner, but we're doing it now. It's called Tony's Takes. Completely not baseball related. Tony, who you taking tonight? Baylor or Gonzaga?
Ooh, I bet against Gonzaga every single game of like the last 3 years. I'm always wrong. So I'm taking Baylor. I'm just going to do it again.
All right. 4 times the charm. Tony's taking Baylor. I'm taking Baylor because my girlfriend and her bracket. So she's doing a school thing, total personal note, but she's doing a school bracket. and she got 2 random teams. She got Baylor and Oklahoma State. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, sick. So it's $20 a person, but it's a $400 payout. So, you know,
I'm rooting for Baylor.
I'm rooting for Baylor because both my brackets got absolutely busted after the first week. I had Arkansas getting eliminated. I had Illinois in the championship. Just absolutely complete madness. I don't think it's as bad as 2 years ago though. I really don't think it. 2 years ago was absolutely insane with the teams that advanced and the team, or the year Loyola. I think that was 2018 when they went to the Final Four. That was absurd. That was absolutely absurd. Favorite year about college basketball. But with that, we are wrapping up this episode of Just Another Year Chicago, completely baseball related. And don't worry, London is still a part of Just Another Year Chicago. He could not make it tonight because he had prior commitments. But with that, my name is Nick Roti, joined with Tony, our White Sox specialist. Appreciate you coming on as always. He will be on for next baseball episode, which will probably be Friday, as Wednesday will be Mock Draft 2.0 with London and I. But Tony, thank you for your time again. My name is Nick Roti with Tony, and we'll see you guys next time.